Now, could India have been involved in the death of a pro-Khalistan activist in the UK? Campaigners have asked the chief coroner for an inquest into the death of Avtar Singh Khanda, who was campaigning for the creation of a breakaway Sikh homeland, Khalistan. He died suddenly in Birmingham in June. West Midlands Police had said there were no suspicious circumstances, but after Canada claimed that Indian agents murdered a separatist Sikh leader there, supporters want Mr Khanda's death reviewed. And Michael Polak is a barrister at London's Church Court Chambers and Director of Justice Abroad. He's leading the campaign and he joins us. Good afternoon, Mr Polak.
Good afternoon.
What is it that you're asking for?
So today we've written to the Chief Coroner asking for him to order an inquest. And we've also asked him to move the inquest from the Coronial District of West Midlands to a different district to be investigated by a different police force and for a different coroner to be in charge. But we also say that we think in this case a High Court judge or a retired High Court judge could be appointed, given that it may turn into an inquiry like what happened with the Litvinenko case.
What evidence is there of foul play? Because we have a situation where Mr Khanda died, I think, as I understand it, was treated in an NHS hospital. The police looked into his death. What evidence is there of foul play?
In relation to Mr. Khanda's case, one has to look at the whole timing of what took place. His father was executed in India summarily in the 90s. He came to the United Kingdom. He's obviously a Sikh activist. There's been threats made to him for a long time. But then following the protests at the Indian High Commission, where he was accused of being involved in the protests there, we don't think he actually was, but he was named as kind of enemy number one by the Indian press. And they also quoted the Indian intelligence agencies as having him on a hit list. So following that, he goes into hospital, passes away very quickly. With a form of leukemia, the hospital has said. And this took place 3 days before the assassination of the Sikh activist in Canada. So the bar for ordering an inquest is very low. There just has to be suspicions of an unnatural death. It's a very low bar. And we say at the very least, there's strong suspicions in this case that somebody has pointed.
You're confident that you will get an inquest, are you?
Yes, we're confident of getting an inquest, especially given all the information going around about what's happened in Canada. There's very strong evidence about assassinations of Sikh activists in Pakistan as well, and other places around Europe. So there's this body of evidence coming forward that there's a new policy of the Indian state to target critics overseas with this kind of force.
His body was cremated, so I'm wondering how easy it's going to be for the coroner to have access to the information that you obviously are keen to find.
In this case, no post-mortem was carried out. Given the information about threats to him and his position as an activist, we think that's a big problem. We'd like to ask the question, and any inquiry or inquest will ask the question, why wasn't that done? But there has been blood samples which have been kept, so tests can be done on those. And the inquest and inquiry, and I keep saying the word inquiry because this will have to turn from an inquest to an inquiry at some point, because we'll want our Five Eyes security partners to be able to share information, as happened in the assassination in Canada. And an inquest can't hear private evidence. They can only hear evidence in public, but an inquiry can. So this will turn into an inquiry at some point. So there will be evidence in relation to his health and what happened, who he was communicating with, threats made directly to him by Indian agents, and also there will be evidence in relation to the intelligence services. What evidence did they have about how much danger he was in? Why did nobody go and warn him about it? Since the assassination in Canada, and this case as well, the British authorities haven't approached the Sikh community and said, well, these people are in danger, or we're going to put in place these kind of protections for you. And there's a duty under Article 2 of the Convention to protect people where there's a real risk to their life. And so we'd like to see the inquiry look into what the policy is. And does the government have a joined-up policy in regards to transnational repression, not just from India, but from countries such as China and Russia as well?
We must leave it there. Michael Polak, thank you very much. UK.